Hey, I'm here at the Gables at Hudson. No one to do a role play with, so I'm just going to answer the questions. So the first one, when someone comes in and they ask about how the care costs work, what we do is, once we get to the point, we'll say we'll do an assessment, and we have the assessment done with one of our nurses. The nurse will come out there, determine what kind of care is actually needed for each individual resident. And what we do is we basically give the services as an a la carte option to where they only get the services that they need, hence they only pay for the services that they need. So if someone only needs bathing assistance, that's all they're going to pay for. Now, if someone needs more, then they're going to pay that extra cost. So if they need bathing, dressing, escorting, they'll pay those fees for the bathing, dressing, escorting, but that's all they're going to pay. People ask, why do we charge care fees? Well, the reason why we charge care fees is because the only other option would be an all-inclusive. The reason why we're not all-inclusive is because essentially what that means is that no matter what level of care you're at, or no matter what level of care the neighbor's at, the person living beside them, someone's paying for someone else's care fees. So if the resident moving in only needs 2 items like bathing and dressing, but their neighbor needs everything under the sun, that means that they're paying the same cost, but the care needs are much different. Same thing if the resident that we're talking to, that they're looking at moving in, they need everything under the sun, well, that means that their neighbor who needs less than them will pay for their care fees. So it just doesn't seem fair. The other reason why is because if you look at an all-inclusive, you're going to be looking at anywhere from $6,000 to $7,000 at least on average if you want to do an all-inclusive. So what we do is we'll break it down for them. We'll say our average cost here in assisted living, just for the base price, is about $3,900 a month. If they come in and get their care fees, the average person in our community pays anywhere from $300 to $500 additional per month in care fees. So if we take the high end of that of $500 plus the $3,900 for the base cost, you're looking at $4,400. So if someone comes in initially and they pay $4,400 a month, that's a lot of savings compared to the $6,000 or $7,000. So if we just take the low end of that from the $6,000, that's a difference of $1,600 a month. So if you average that out over the course of a year, I don't know the math exactly, but it's going to be over $15,000 difference per year that someone would pay to go into an all-inclusive community as opposed to a community that like ours that does it a la carte. Now over time, they might gain more care fees to where they might get up closer to the $6,000 or $7,000 if they need total care, but still they're going to have that initial savings over at least the first year, 2 years in most cases. Either way, it's very rare that someone comes in initially and they're paying that high of a cost of what you'd normally find at an all-inclusive community. The other reason why we do the care fees, which a lot of folks don't recognize or realize when they first come in, is it allows us to staff properly. The state of Missouri, for example, they have, your staffing ratio is 1 staff member for every 20 residents. That's the state minimum. Well, how we staff is based off of care, not occupancy. And that seems to go a long ways when we explain it. So if we say, well, this person, when we do the a la carte, comes across at, 10 points. Well, every point is worth a certain dollar figure, and that's how much the resident pays. Well, those points also translate into how much staff we need. So that's why it's so important for us to do an accurate assessment and to get the exact amount of points. So that way, 1, we know the exact total to charge the resident, and 2, we know the exact amount of staff that we have so we can provide the proper staffing. Also, it allows us not to overstaff, which is a big part of this, because if we don't overstaff, that means that we don't have to have those fees trickle down to the other residents because we're overstaffing, because we did the assessment properly and they're only paying for the care that they need. So that's what I got.